Picture yourself in a crowd, everyone cheering for a leader who's clearly wrong. Yet you clap too, your stomach twisting with doubt. What if this blind loyalty isn't just a moment, but a trap that's been shaping your entire life? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a man who stared into the abyss of human folly during the Nazi era, uncovered a terrifying truth. Stupidity isn't about intelligence. It's about surrender, and it's why the foolish often rule. Stick with me, because what you're about to discover could change how you see yourself and the world forever. Let's dive into Bonhoeffer's theory, peel back its layers, and see what it reveals about you, me, and the world we're stumbling through. We'll bring in Friedrich Nietzsche to help us navigate this abyss, use his concept of the will to power to understand why stupidity often wins, and how you can break free from its grip. This journey will take us from the societal roots of folly to the personal transformation you didn't know you needed. Stay with me. It's going to be a wild ride. Bonhoeffer saw stupidity not as a lack of intelligence, but as a moral failing, a refusal to think critically, to question, to resist. He wrote about this during his imprisonment by the Nazis, observing how ordinary people, not monsters, enabled atrocities through their blind obedience. Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice, he warned. Why? Because you can reason with evil. Malice has motives, desires, something to negotiate with. But stupidity? It's a brick wall. It doesn't listen. It doesn't learn. It just marches forward, dragging everyone down with it. Think about the last time you saw someone follow a bad idea without questioning it. Maybe it was a friend who stayed in a toxic relationship because that's just how it is. Or a co-worker who went along with a terrible decision at work because the boss said so. Stupidity isn't just ignorance. It's a choice to stay ignorant, to cling to comfort over truth. Bonhoeffer believed this happens most often in groups, where social pressure smothers individual thought. The herd cheers, and you clap along, even when your gut screams that something's wrong. Have you ever done that? Be honest. When was the last time you silenced your own doubts to fit in? This is where Nietzsche comes in, with his concept of the will to power. Nietzsche argued that humans are driven by a fundamental desire to assert themselves, to create, to dominate their environment. But when that will is stifled by fear, conformity, or self-doubt, it twists into something darker. Instead of creating, we destroy. Instead of leading, we follow. Stupidity, in Nietzsche's lens, is what happens when the will to power gets hijacked by the herd. You stop thinking for yourself because it's easy to let someone else take the reins, even if they're steering you into a ditch. The terrifying part? This isn't just a Nazi-era problem. It's happening right now, in your life, in your world. Let's zoom out and look at society. Why do the most foolish often rise to power? Think about the leaders, influencers, or even viral trends that make you scratch your head. Bonhoeffer would say it's because stupidity is contagious. It spreads like wildfire in groups, fueled by fear and the need to belong. The loudest voices, the ones who oversimplify complex problems, often win because they appeal to our laziness. They tell us what to think, who to blame, and we eat it up because thinking for ourselves is hard. Nietzsche would add that these leaders exploit our suppressive power. They give us an illusion of strength through blind loyalty, while robbing us of true agency. Now, bring this closer to home. How does this play out in your life? Maybe you've noticed it in your relationships. You keep saying yes to people who drain you because saying no feels too risky. You don't want to be the difficult one. Or at work, you nod along to a terrible idea because everyone else is on board, and you don't want to rock the boat. That's Bonhoeffer's stupidity at work. The refusal to stand apart, to think for yourself, even when you know better. And it's Nietzsche's will to power turned upside down. You're giving your power away, letting the herd decide who you are. But here's the good news. You can break free. Bonhoeffer believed that stupidity isn't a life sentence. It's a choice. And choices can be changed. The first step is self-awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act of following blindly. The next time you're about to go along with something that feels wrong, pause. Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Is it because I truly agree or because I'm afraid to stand out? That moment of reflection is where your power begins to return. Nietzsche would call this a reclaiming of your will to power, a refusal to let the herd define you. Let's take this deeper. Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity thrives in isolation, not physical isolation, but emotional and intellectual disconnection. When you're cut off from real dialogue, from people who challenge your ideas, you become an echo chamber of one. The Nazis knew this. They controlled information, silenced dissent, and turned neighbors into strangers. But this isn't just a historical lesson. Look at your own life. How often do you seek out people who disagree with you? Or do you surround yourself with voices that only confirm what you already believe? This is where Nietzsche's philosophy can save you. The will to power isn't just about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. It's about having the courage to face uncomfortable truths, to grow, to create your own values instead of borrowing them from the herd. Bonhoeffer would agree. The antidote to stupidity is connection, real, raw, honest connection with others who push you to think harder, to be better. Find those people. Seek out the friend who calls you out, the mentor who asks tough questions, the stranger whose perspective makes you squirm. That discomfort is your ticket out of the herd. Practically speaking, this means changing how you live. Start small. The next time you're in a group and feel the pressure to conform, speak up. Say the thing you're afraid to say. It might be as simple as, I don't agree with this. Can we talk about why? Or in your personal life, set boundaries with people who drag you into their own folly. If your friend is stuck in a cycle of bad decisions, don't just nod and sympathize. Challenge them. Ask, why do you keep doing this? What's really going on? You'll be amazed at how much power you reclaim when you stop playing along. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, your transformation. Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity isn't just a warning. It's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that you're not a helpless bystander in the face of folly. You have the power to choose differently, to think differently, to live differently. Nietzsche would say this is your will to power in action, the moment you decide to stop following and start leading your own life. It's terrifying, yes, standing apart always is, but it's also exhilarating. Imagine a life where you're not a puppet of the herd, where your choices come from your own truth, not someone else's noise. That's the life you were meant to live. So what does this look like in practice? It means cultivating a habit of questioning everything. Question the news you read, the opinions you hear, even your own assumptions. It means seeking out real connection, not just with others, but with yourself. Take time to reflect. What do I really believe? What do I really want? And it means having the courage to act on those answers, even when it's hard. Bonhoeffer died for his principles. He resisted the Nazis until the very end because he refused to let stupidity win. You don't have to face a regime, but you do have to face your own fears. Are you brave enough to do that? You've seen the terrifying grip of stupidity, how it pulls you into the herd, how it lets folly reign. But now you know you can choose differently. Bonhoeffer and Nietzsche showed us that true power lies in thinking for yourself, in standing apart, in living a life that's yours, not the crowd's. So what will you choose today? Take a moment. Look at your life, your relationships, your beliefs. What's one thing you'll stop following blindly? Write in the comments, I choose to break free. Share this with someone who needs to wake up, and subscribe for more truths that will set you free. Let's step out of the shadows together.